I'd like to call this August 6, 2026 Board of Education work session to order. George, can you take the roll?
Mrs. Bissell?
Here.
Mr. Helms? He is not here due to prior engagement. Mr. Micko?
Here.
Mr. Wall?
Here.
And Mrs. Hausum?
Here.
We have 4 present. We have a quorum.
We could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda are strategic priorities. Our district has developed and is currently engaged in a 3-year strategic plan which reflects the values, beliefs, and hopes of our students, staff, parents, and community. There are 4 strategic priorities to the plan: transforming teaching and learning, aligning staff and resources, cultivating culture and climate, and leveraging funding and facilities. Our strategic priorities give actionable focus to our district's purpose and mission and guide the work of our strategic plan. Next, I'll turn it over to Dr. Iver for recognitions.
Thank you, Ms. Hausum. Always this time of year, it's a great honor to recognize and celebrate so many talented athletes for qualifying at the state meet, placing, and even becoming a state champion. So I'm going to turn it over to Jason Kepler, our athletic director, to start the recognitions.
Well, as always, thank you guys so much for the opportunity to recognize our student athletes when they do some great things. It's just this team had such an incredible run this year. It was so fun watching along the way, and to recognize them here tonight is definitely appreciated from all of us. So thank you guys very much. Before I bring the coaching staff up to talk about some of the things that they did individually, I do want to shout out our coaching staff. Especially Coach Alexander and Coach Koval, who will be here momentarily. They work tirelessly for these kids. They start, actually I don't know when you start because you guys go year round and you never stop. So I appreciate all the time and effort that you put into the kids. But the thing I appreciate most about this coaching staff is the positive culture that they cultivate on the teams. As a coach, it's easy to fall in the trap to talk about all the things that need fixing. And I firmly believe having a culture where you focus on the positive while also holding kids accountable is how you maximize their potential. And when I would walk through practice, when I would walk and observe at meets, I couldn't tell you how many times I saw the coaching staff building the kids up when they needed to be built up and help them maximize their potential. So coaching staff, thank you guys very much. And then before bringing Coach Alexander up, I do want to share a story about this crew of athletes over here. As part of our routine, we check all of our kids' grades at the end of each season and definitely before the state meet. And when checking these grades, I'm proud to share that cumulatively as a group, on an unweighted scale, they had a 3.8 GPA and about 230 A's in all the classes that they took together, which I think that points to one thing that we always talk about in the athletic department, and that's if you want to do big things on a big stage, you have to have an elite mindset, and that doesn't stop at your sport. It doesn't stop at training. That infiltrates the way you live, the way you breathe, the way you just go about life. And I think the fact that you guys qualified for states, did some great things at states, and most importantly, your students first, and your grades demonstrate that. And you just live life and think about life in an elite way. So I just want to say I'm proud of you guys. You're going to walk out of these high school walls one day doing some pretty great things wherever you might land. So I just want to say congratulations. Coach Alexander, would you mind coming up?
So I will talk about each of the girls first. So if you guys want to come up and stand over here. We had a big group of girls that made it to the state meet this year, which was really exciting. Coach Thal wasn't able to make it, but I have a little message that came from Coach Thal about Logan, who qualified in the discus. She says, "Congratulations, Logan. I'm so proud of you and all you've accomplished. I'm so sorry I could not be there to celebrate this recognition with you this evening. My family planned this family vacation a year ago, so I'm currently eating lobster. Watching you grow as an athlete over the past 3 years has been one of my greatest joys of my coaching career. Taking you to the state meet in discus as a junior was a special milestone, and everything you've achieved along the way has been the result of your dedication, perseverance, and countless hours of hard work. Being recognized by the Board of Education tonight is an honor that is so well deserved. Please know that I'll be cheering you on from afar. Congratulations on this recognition. You have represented your team, your school, and yourself with class and lots of hard work with myself and your dad. I can't wait to see all the amazing things you accomplish in this upcoming year. Keep reaching for greatness. You've earned every bit of this moment. Can't wait to get in the ring and make some more amazing memories this year." From Coach Thal. And next we have 3 members of our 4x8 team. The past few years, well, I'll introduce them. It's Chloe Cliche, Lindsay Magyar, and Hannah Jika, and then Carrie Teague was unable to make it today. The past few years, we have had some very successful 4x8 relays, and it seems like every year we lose a key runner or two and somehow come up with a strong replacement. We knew Hannah, Lindsay, and Chloe had the potential to make the podium again at the state meet, but we were in search of a 4th runner to add to the relay. Then came Carrie. Carrie started the season as a short sprinter, and with some convincing, we were able to get her into the 400 and 800, and she came through when it mattered most. Hannah's competitiveness, Lindsay's consistency and readiness when the pressure is on, and Chloe's major breakout season in 8-second 800 PR helped them to an amazing postseason, winning the conference meet, and then getting second at regionals, Hannah running with 1 shoe and still getting second, and a podium 6th place finish at the state meet. Can't wait to have 3 of these 4 back next year, see what we can do again. And then next we have Lindsay. She was a qualifier in the 1600. Lindsay has had huge success in her career so far. She has been on the podium at the state meet 3 times in the 4x8, and this year she came through with a huge postseason, getting 2nd place at the conference meet and qualifying for her first individual race at the state track meet. Lindsay comes through most when it matters the most, and it's great to have someone on the team you can count on like Lindsay. Can't wait to see how her senior year plays out this year. And then we have our state champion, Hannah. Hannah was the state 1600 champion. This year, Hannah had a huge goal to win the state championship in the 1600, and she did whatever she needed to make that happen. Not only did she achieve that goal, she ran the 5th fastest 1600 time ever run at the state meet. Hannah will go down in history as one of the best, or maybe the best, distance runner in Strongsville history. Over her career, she has had 13 All-Ohio finishes over cross-country and track, including 2 runner-up finishes and 3 state championships, 2 indoor and 1 outdoor. She holds 5 relay school records and 3 individual school records. We'll be so sad to see Hannah go, but next year she is going to be running track and cross-country at Villanova. So congratulations, girls. And then I can talk about the boys, too. Come on up.
Congratulations. 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 Congratulations.
So I didn't fully prepare for the boys because I wasn't expecting to talk, but we had the 3 of them qualify this year. We have Sam Walkowitz in the 110 hurdles and the 300 hurdles. He had a great season where he qualified in 2 events and placed 6th in the 300 hurdles. Throughout the season, 110s was probably his main event, but him and Luke kind of swapped at the end, which was pretty funny, and Luke qualified in the 110 hurdles. So they both had a really successful season. And then we have Caden. One of my favorite moments from the season was probably one of Caden's races at the regional meet where top 4 qualified, and he was kind of like near the back of the pack with like 300 meters to go, and he started moving up, And then the last 100 meters, he caught fourth place, and I was like, he's gonna get fourth, he's gonna get third, he's gonna get second, and then he ended up winning, which is an amazing accomplishment for a 10th grader especially. So he ran a really great race at regionals and then followed it up at the state meet with an 8th place finish on the podium. So congratulations, guys. Sorry, I didn't have it.
Congratulations. 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 Yep.
Well, just on behalf of everybody, just a phenomenal job. Congratulations to all of you on your accomplishments. And I know, as Mr. Kepler said, the work that you're doing year-round behind the scenes to compete at the level that you're competing at, it's just phenomenal. So not only proud of you as what you've done on track and field, but proud of you as the great young people that you are and how you're representing our district. And for those of you that are coming back next year, we're excited to see all that you're going to accomplish. So once again, let's give our athletes a great round of applause.
All right, just to echo what Dr. Ribas said, congratulations, Coach Alexander, and to Coach Koval. We're lucky to have you in our district, and great job. I can't wait to see what you guys do next year, and hopefully I'll see some of you running across the bridge this weekend. All right, next up we have public comment. Now is a great time if anyone has to leave. We can pause.
Really?
All right, I have no public comment slips, and we have no public, so I will move on. Approval of minutes from our June 30th, 2026 regular meeting. Motion to approve the minutes of the June 30th, 2026 regular meeting. All audio recordings will be a permanent part of the minutes and are available upon request through the treasurer's office. Video recordings shall be maintained based on the availability of the selected digital online platform. We have a second set of minutes from July 9th, 2026 work session. Motion to approve the minutes of the July 9th, 2026 work session. All audio recordings will be a permanent part of the minutes and are available upon request through the treasurer's office. Video recordings shall be maintained based on the availability of the selected digital online platform. With that, I will turn it over to Mr. Agnosty for the treasurer's report.
Thank you, Mrs. Hausum. I have a couple items for your consideration and one item for discussion. The first item is an annual topic. It's the cafeteria price increase for breakfast, lunch, and a la carte. This is a required tool that we have to do per the USDA to see if our prices match their target price. It's a calculator that we put in our information, and then it generates based on inflation if our prices match. And the average price did increase to $4.16 from $3.99. So we can round down to $4.15. So it's a 15 cents increase. And on the attachment, I do have the prices that are listed. So for example, elementary lunch will go from $3.80 to $3.95. Secondary lunch, middle school and high school will go from $4.15 to $4.30. And then the adult meals will also increase by 15 cents as well. We do have the ability for a one-year waiver not to do it, but if the prices increase again, then we have to have that increase plus the increase for this year. So it's kind of better just to do them incrementally so it's not one big increase. And then the other attachments are the a la carte prices, and those are increased based on price increase. The ones that increase are highlighted in yellow, and then based on the other increases. The food service departments have been running a promotion for the last couple of years of a Packers Pick 2, and that has also increased as well proportionately to $1.50. Any questions? The next item is a discussion item. It's for the Ohio School Boards Association Capital Conference, which is November 15th through the 17th, for annual selection of the business delegate. We'll be voting on the delegate at the next meeting if anyone's interested in going. And also, any board members can go. They don't have to be the delegate. It's just one board member that represents the district for the OSBA annual meeting as our delegate. So if any board member is interested, please let me know and we'll get you registered. I see 2 shaking heads. Okay. You can tell me later. Nope. All right, any further discussion on the delegate or?
I don't know about Tim yet.
Okay.
Eric, you went last year, so you know the background of the delegate and what they do, right? Michelle and I have both had the opportunity to be the delegate. It's, there's a session, usually Sunday afternoon.
It's gonna be,
Monday. That's when we disappeared.
Yeah, and you had a meeting.
Yes, yes. And if there's any legislation changes, there's an opportunity for board members to stand up and talk about it. Districts have the opportunity to submit legislation changes. And then if there's anything that we need to vote on, we do it. And so the delegate would represent Strongsville City Schools. Did I cover it? So that's at at our next meeting, we'll need to appoint a delegate.
all right. And the last item is it's an action item. It's for an invoice order approval with an after-the-fact purchase order of over $3,000. It's for the Ohio Schools Council energy audit. In 2025, the Operations Department entered an agreement with the Ohio Schools Council to perform an energy audit. And whatever the result was of the savings that would come back in the audit, there would be a chargeback to, we would get a portion of it and the Ohio Schools Council would get a portion of it. So now they're billing us for their portion. So overall it generated about $25,000. So they're 50%, the payback for that. So at the time, there wasn't a purchase order in place because we didn't know the value of what it was gonna be. So now that we received the invoice, it's an after-the-fact purchase order.
Can I ask a question with that?
Yeah,
So if I understand that correctly, this looks like it's an expense, but it's really, it was a gain for
it was a
us.
gain, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Any questions for George? Oh, I'm sorry, it was an action, I'm sorry. Motion,
So moved.
second?
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Bissell, seconded by Mr. Wall. George, can you take the roll?
Mrs. Bissell,
Yes.
Mr. Wall,
Yes.
Mrs. Hausum,
Yes.
Mr. Miko.
Yes.
Motion carries. And that concludes my report. If there's no
Thank you.
further questions.
Right, Dr. Alba?
Thank you, Ms. Hausum. So my only item under my section is to follow up on a reduction planning discussion from last time. So the spreadsheet is linked. It's the same spreadsheet as last time, just updated. So George, if we could start with the Phase 2 teachers tab and maybe make it like 90%. There we go. So what I did since last time is I added 2 additional columns on the end of each spreadsheet. So the first column is Phase 2 reductions. Again, these reductions will go into effect no matter what in the 27-28 school year. And as we discussed, the board gave direction that we wanted to see $2.5 to $3 million in reductions that would go into effect in FY28. What I did, however, is based on discussion, broke out. The first column are costs that we are confident those are real savings that we will generate because those are positions that will no longer exist in our district, and we know we're going to capture that reduction in our expenditures. I broke out, it's still phase two, it's still going to go into effect for the 27-28 school year, but the middle column I just qualified as soft reductions. What that means is we'll probably see some of those reductions. Some of them are usage charges, some of them are things that we can't say with 100% accuracy. We're gonna realize every dollar of that, but that way we could just put that in its own separate column. These are not all of phase, I've added the third column which says phase three. Phase three are reductions. We haven't shared that full plan yet. We'll do that at our work session in September. But I put it on here to show these are reductions that will only happen with a future levy failure. And these reflect what were phase two reductions that we've moved to later based on discussion and board direction. So looking at this first tab, I'm just going to highlight what has been moved to soft costs or been moved to phase three. So based on our discussion, the social worker is not a reduction that will happen automatically. It would only happen with a future levy failure. So that's been moved to phase three. As we take a look at the reduction of teacher positions at the high school, I did consolidate. There used to be a row 10 and it was eliminating an English teacher. After further discussion, we felt that we would put that with the row above, that we probably couldn't reduce 7 teachers, but at max we could reduce 6. And I've broken that out to say we're pretty confident we can realize the $282,000, but the additional cost of $102 would be potentially because we don't know what the schedule next year is going to look like. This is about capping classes at a level of 15. And that way we can go through and be more strategic of, you know, if an AP class is below 15, if specific classes are below 15, and so it'll give us some flexibility while still reflecting real savings we could realize. On row 12, again, after discussion, we put all the mental health reductions into phase three. So that middle school counselor will be moved to phase three. And then finally, at the end of the spreadsheet, we put as George explained last time, we will not know the savings we have from retiring teachers to new teachers, as well as we've got targets for reducing costs with copies. But that's a true soft cost. We won't know 100% until we go through that. So again, you could see the breakdown there. Moving on to the next tab, George, with support staff. If we go down and look at row 9, we have moved the reduction of overtime for tech and custodial staff to soft costs. We have moved reducing specific employees that work 8 hours a day to 7.5. We've moved that to phase three. That'll give us plenty of time to study it and have a more specific recommendation. As well as based on discussions, we moved the additional elementary monitors to phase three as well. The remaining positions and reductions stayed in phase two. The other 2 tabs, we did not make any changes. Everything stayed as is, and those are all firm reductions that we know the cost that we are going to realize. And so if we click on the financial summary tab, you could see the breakdown is that with the board's target of $2.5 to $3 million of reductions, those firm reductions that we're confident that we will realize in the blue, that we got to $2,465,923. The soft costs that we believe we will realize a good portion of that. Maybe we won't realize all of it, but there's basically $448,000 there. Put those together, you're $2.9 million in total potential phase two reductions. Phase three is going to be a lot more than $500,000, but that's just the phase two that have been moved. So turn it back over to you, Ms. Hausum. If this meets the expectations of the board, then we will finalize this phase two plan, communicate it as we will, and then we will start building phase three.
Do we have questions or comments?
Kudos on moving the column to soft costs. I mean, that defines it real well. We still have a reasonable reduction goal, hard goal. You met the request, so well done.
Agreed, yeah. I'm happy with the changes.
Appreciate the work here.
Yeah, thank you. So we'll finalize that tonight, and then we'll start communicating. And like I said, September work session is when we'll start presenting Phase 3. Moving on in the agenda, Steve is here tonight, so I'm going to have him come up and do the business service report. And I think Steve's going to start with the presentation. George, if you want to put that up.
Good evening, everyone. So the first thing under business services is a report on the certification standards, excuse me, governing the types of food and beverages sold on school premises, and that's from the ODE. So this is the same presentation that we give every year, just to make sure that we're living up to the Ohio Revised Code standards that are in existence. So if you go to and I did talk to Donna. She had every intention of being here tonight, and there was a family emergency, and she was not able to attend here at the last minute. So I'll try to fill in her place here. So again, this is just the annual presentation. If you want to go ahead and move to this another slide, George. So the whole purpose of this is meeting the Ohio Revised Code listed there, 3313.814, and that's specifically discussing not just the food, but also the beverages that are being sold during the school day. You'll see that it encompasses a half hour before school, all of before school, during school, and a half hour afterwards. So that's clearly delineated in these components. So according to what is set forth in the Ohio Revised Code, we are in compliance with everything that you're going to see here and all the components of the nutrition standards for food and beverages sold outside of school meals. The component number one is the wellness policy compliance. So as I said, any beverages or food sold on school properties before, during, or up to 30 minutes after the regular school day meet or exceed the nutritional standards required by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And that standard does not apply to non-school hours, doesn't apply to weekends, sporting events, off-campus fundraising, although we encourage that. We do not have our nutritional standards at those things, which is why you can have other groups at football games, basketball games, selling items. But if it's within that parameter and it's us involved every time, we encourage people to sell our food and our drinks that meet the compliance standards through the vendors that we have vetted. The next slide is the sale and consumption. Again, a little redundant, but just saying that you're not going to be selling anything that isn't in compliance to students at any location within the building other than the lunchroom during those times, and that food and sales to the staff during the school day and to students 30 minutes after the end of the school day are at the discretion of each school's wellness committee. Component number three is all products vended or sold must be in compliance with the board wellness policy. So we do have, we started a few years ago having vending machines in the schools with a third-party vendor. All of the food and snacks that they give, that they have, it has to go through Donna. She has a vetting process. It has to be reported, and all of that is in compliance with the Food and Drug Administration, the U.S. Department of Agriculture and what's set forth in the Ohio Revised Code. So we're complying in that, all three of those components at this point in time, all the proper documentation's in place. And then the last slide is that we're going to continue to meet these standards and enhance these standards with Chartwells through the monitoring, tweaking of our menus and the replacement of older equipment, including outdated POS terminals. So we're doing everything we can not only from the food and beverage side, but we're also making sure that we're having the most energy efficient equipment available. We did have to purchase some new POS systems. So in all aspects of our food service program, we are trying to not only maintain the standards set forth with the Ohio Revised Code, but be as efficient as possible with the storing of that food, preparing that food, and then serving that food. And that's that report.
And as Steve transitions to the next thing, it is a pretty routine annual report, but just for the board's information, there is a a questionnaire I have to submit every single year through the Department of Education and Workforce that has to upload the presentation, has to solidify that we did the presentation. So it's good practice to share how we're doing in our food service program, but it is a state requirement that we have to acknowledge and document and prove that we've provided this presentation to the board on an annual basis.
All right. The second item for this evening is a people transportation agreement. This is for Suburban, who's been a partner with us. So when we're unavailable or unable to transport students due to extenuating circumstances surrounding maybe a homeless student or a student who's going to another school that is not in our district, when that happens and it's not viable for us to provide a driver or a bus, we do have needs to have a third-party vendor. Suburban's been a great partner with us, so there is the updated agreement for that. Also, there's a revision of another partner that we are using, which, sorry, something got, there we go. Sorry, it didn't update. We also have another partner called EverDriven. We started using them last year. What we found during COVID, and we're still having, is that when we have Suburban as our lone provider, sometimes because they're providing so many services to other neighboring school districts, we have to have a second option or a third option for those students that Suburban, for whatever reason in their operations, maybe distance, maybe time of day, that they can't transport. So we do have another partner by the name of EverDriven. This year revises that agreement so that it covers through the rest, through 6/30 of 2029. The next item, the fourth item there is a recommendation for the rental fees for the district and indirect costs as found in the exhibit. The only changes that have been made is that we base our costs for the personnel off of what it is for the overtime. So as the contract increases incrementally, so do the costs here as well. The other cost that we needed to adjust that's reflected on this is we did change the, if you want to keep scrolling down, George. Yeah, the stage supervisor, sound light technicians, we did change that to $45 an hour. It was originally $35 an hour. That was out of line with the other districts that I compare this to every year. Those costs have gone up in other districts. We hadn't changed that cost, I believe, in over 8 years. We have been staying flatline with that, so I'm proposing that we make that change and keep in line with the other school districts similar in size offer the same services that we do in relation to the facilities. The fifth item for your consideration is the school routes and stops. The sixth item that is an action item is be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent that the Board of Education accepts the proposal from Inflatable Images for the bleacher wrap for Pat Catan Stadium. The total cost not to exceed $69,362.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Bissell, second by Mr. Wall. We briefly touched on this last time. I don't know if you guys want to just go over it one more time.
Sure, I'm actually going to bring up Jason Kepler, the athletic director, so that he can answer any questions that you would have on this that I'm not able to.
So I'll have Jason give all the details of what it is, but just a reminder, all of this is paid through the donated dollars. And so these are part of all the sponsorship agreements that the board has approved. There's, things that the district is going to provide for that. And so one of these is this bleacher wrap. And so it's going to be a great stadium enhancement. So Jason will go through all the details of what it actually is, but just all the $69,000 is coming through the fund that is all through donated dollars.
Sure. So the bleacher wrap is an enclosure behind the bleachers. So as we walk in to the stadium through the main gates, it looks like a big structure that's not the skeleton of the underbelly of a set of bleachers. So obviously, it'll be enclosed, but it'll have a bunch of Mustang branding on it. And it is a very custom piece where they had to come out and measure with a bucket truck. They have this company has a patented framing system because I think if you've gone to enough football stadiums, you've seen some similar bleacher wraps, bleacher jerseys. There's like 100 different names for them, and they look like they're sagging or not in the best of shape. But this steel structure that they put on the back of our bleachers keeps it taut for many, many years. It can stay up year round. You don't have to take them down year after year. And on top of that, it was the best price of the quotes that we'd received. So I'm fully confident that this is going to be a great product and a great enhancement to our stadium.
And in addition to that,
Yeah.
one of the things, if you take a look at when you enter Pakistan Stadium and you see the bleachers as Jason was describing, one of the challenges we have with that wide space is just the fan experience is a little diminished because we've got a lot of people running through there and playing football and doing things kids should do. But it becomes a challenging area. So based on how the bleacher wrap system, it doesn't come down to the ground. It comes down maybe 6 to 8 feet off of the ground. And so what we have put in and will be finished up this summer is there is going to be a fence around the bottom part of it with gates where storage can be had. And then the top part will be the wrap as Jason shared. And then we are still leaving a section of the under bleachers open. So that way, if there's inclement weather or people can still get under the bleachers and get some shelter. But it's going to enhance a great deal, not only the look, but just the management of students and fans underneath in that area moving forward. So we're excited about it.
Yeah, I think if you guys have been under there on a Friday night, it can be kind of like Hunger Games, so beware.
And I do want to mention that lower fence, we were able to install internally. So we didn't need to go out for third party, we were able to put the poles in, and then we have construction and mesh over this week, but that's all internal work that we were able to do.
I just want clarification, the center stairwell there will still be accessible to, okay, thank you.
Yeah, so the center stairwell is still accessible, and that's where you're probably going to have 10 feet on each side of the center stairwell underneath the bleachers. That's still going to be accessible, and then the rest of it will be fenced off.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Sure. What's the lifespan?
It was a conversation I had a while ago, but I want to say it's about 12 to 15 years. Yeah, the steel structure that they put on there keeps the material taut, so there's way less flexion in it, which preserves the integrity of the fabric for a long time.
Any other questions?
Medina High School has this same system on the back of their bleachers, and it's withstood the test of time for many years now.
Any other questions? George, can you take the roll?
Mrs. Bissell?
Yes.
Mr. Wah?
Yes.
Mrs. Hausum?
Yes.
Mr. Miko?
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next item, number 7, is a consent item. Is that correct, George? Or is that,
Yeah, it's a consent item.
pardon me?
It was on there as a consent item.
Okay. But does it need action?
It's an annual item.
Okay. This is a resolution for a 1-year contract between Strongsville City Schools and Agile Sports Technology, also known as the Huddle Camera. And that is the package level 4. The total cost, $27,000, and the contract term is the 1st of August of this year to the 31st of July for 2027. All right. And then the last item here is a resolution for the recommendation of the superintendent that the operations manager be authorized to enter into an 8-year agreement, fall of '26 through spring 2034, with Vasco Sports Contractors for the high school and middle school turf fields as specified in the exhibit for a total amount not to exceed $84,000 and funding to be from the facility fund.
Do I have a
Steve,
motion?
before you do
Oh.
that, sorry, Miss. Steve, just going back to number 7, the huddle, while Jason's up there. It's correct that the athletic boosters reimburse us for half the costs of this item. So although we're paying 27,000, the athletic boosters will reimburse us for the there's an enhanced feature, an upgraded package that the boosters covers. So just wanted to point that out.
Thank you. Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Motion by Mrs. Bissell, second by Mr. Wall.
So again, this is for the, with Vasco for the middle school and high school turf. So one of the things we want to do with all of the money that was invested by the community, from ourselves, is make sure that we take care of our investments. The turfs are a major investment. So this will allow us to work with Vasco, who's the installer, to make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, that we don't have a lot of infill coming out and not putting it back in, which will of course shorten the life of the field. If we're having any issues with not just infill, but settling, there's also a test that's done to measure impact so that it's as safe as possible when you have some sports that are contact sports. So all of that testing, we have done this in the past, and we've been able to, I think, pretty successfully make sure we are maintaining the fields that we've been installing. This is just an agreement to keep going in that track and make sure that we're not spending a lot of money up front and not doing the maintenance costs to make sure that that investment is lasting as long as possible.
Questions, comments?
I just want to make sure I heard that correctly. We have done this package before?
Correct.
Okay.
The only thing that we've added on is the impact testing.
Okay.
We were able to, Jason did a great job of working with them to get them to sharpen their pencils on getting this for us. They felt like it was necessary. We hadn't done it before, so we both met with them, and after we were able to talk with them for a little bit, they were able to bring it to a price that we felt was very reasonable, so that we could get this testing done, so that we can go back and say that we're not only providing the best but the safest turf possible for the sports that we have for the next 8 years.
I saw a article on Spectrum News recently that talked about the maintenance for turf fields. And so everything in the contract matches what I learned as far as the brush and, you don't think about it, but cleats break, et cetera, and they all end up in the turf. And this will address those issues. My question is what is the payment schedule? It's an 8-year agreement?
Correct.
It's on the board, Steve, right in front of you.
Yeah, so 44 over the next, let's see, it's $5,500 a year for both of them with the, that G-Max is that test, and then the field care is $5,000 a year.
What I want to know is, are we
Okay.
paying it annually?
Yes,
So we're breaking, I'm just concerned about an 8-year contract, and in year 5, Vasco goes bankrupt, and we now
Yeah.
are trying to chase things. So we pay it
we pay it,
once a
Per-
year. We
yeah.
pay 1/8 of it once a year.
correct, and the price is locked in is the.
Perfect.
Is the agreement. I do want to say, just to be clear, we also do our own maintenance. We have our own equipment that we have with this. So, we do the brushing, we try to put the infill back as much as possible to equipment we have. This is an inspection that also takes care of, because it is just sewn together carpet at the end of the day. It's not what I used to play on, thankfully, because I lost a lot of skin cells to that turf, the AstroTurf that they had at that time. But it still is carpet. As kids use it, hash marks come up, seams come loose. This takes care of all of that as well, and it's all embedded into the cost. So it's not just proper care, because we do some of that ourselves. It's also just maintaining and getting a report of everything's together, everything's doing what it's supposed to be doing, and the field's as safe as possible, in addition to what we do internally.
I can just add, I think it's money well spent. I mean, if I remember right, and correct me where I'm wrong, the original turf was supposed to last 9 to 10 years. We made it last 11 to 12 years.
Correct.
And part of that is because we maintained it, right?
Correct.
So to me, this is not pennies, but it's wise and not foolish to do the maintenance.
Well, and not to press my luck, because I have seemingly agreement as it is, this also protects us because at some point we would have to fix all those hash marks that come loose. At some point we would have to fix the seams. Having them mobilize and come out with this kind of agreement, the return on investment is there to have this done so that we're not only maintaining what we have, but we're doing it in a financially responsible way before it becomes so catastrophic that we're putting much more money into a field that we didn't need to if we had just properly maintained it.
And the funds that pay for this, they come out of the 014 facility fund, and those are the, as we just approved the rental rates, those are our facility rentals that we get back going to this fund, and that pays for this annual agreement.
Any other questions? George, you take the roll?
Mrs. Bissell?
Yes.
Mr. Wall?
Yes.
Mrs. Hausum?
Yes.
Mr. Miko?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
I would just think it would be, I had an opportunity to go visit the high school and middle school today. If both of you could give an update as to where we're at with the current replacement projects with the high school and middle school.
Which one do you want to take?
I'll take the high school.
Okay, good.
I set you up nicely, Jason.
Yeah, thank you.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
So at the high school, we've had a crew working 6 days a week, 10 to 12 hours a day. And as of yesterday, they finished up the inlays and the logo placement and installation. And they are now on to phase 3, which is the final phase of the installation. And that's putting the infill back in the rubber pellets in the sand. They think that they will be done Monday, Tuesday-ish, based on my latest conversation with the guys out there. But that also depends on weather, so that could delay things. But we're hoping by Wednesday at the latest, we're back on there, ready to go full tilt. Steve, I'll take the middle school one too. I won't set you up like that. The middle school, they still have everything dug up. It's a big pit, for lack of better words, to mitigate the unsuitable soil. And Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, they've foregone the drying process because that wasn't going to work, and they're putting the stabilization material in there.
Correct. So before they spent the money involved with the stabilization, they did leave it exposed for about a week to see if it would dry up on its own. They went in with their probes, and it's still sinking all the way down. So today they started the process of stabilization, which basically in a nutshell is concrete dust everywhere. And it's a chemical that we've used before, for those that were on the board before, and for those that were not. When we did the teacher's parking lot at the high school there in the front, we were faced with completely unsuitable soil. They were gonna have to dig down and go all the way down to the base and start infilling with rock. That's when I was introduced to this product that, while expensive, is not as expensive as rock. That was put down, it was tested, solid, and we're able to have a really nice parking lot that's actually maintaining better than anything we've ever had in that area before. So, given the performance of this material, we were hoping we wouldn't have to use it, but now that we are, I'm much more confident that with the moisture that were in the soil, the unsuitable soil that was there that was causing all of the issue, that will be rectified. As soon as that application is done, they'll start regrading it, they'll roll it, prove test it, make sure everything's good to go, and then start putting the carpet back on. I don't know if you have a timeline.
It all depends on how long they had it open for, but our latest conversation had it reopening sometime mid to third week in September, which obviously bleeds into our youth football season. But we've made arrangements to play the games either at the high school stadium where needed. The city and the SFL, who are such great partners to us on dates or weeks that didn't work, we're going to be using the SFL field, I believe, on 2 of the dates. So, yeah, and we have a backup plan in place until the end of September, should things go wrong and weather doesn't cooperate and things of that nature. That way, if we need to move games later in September, we have that plan in place and we just plug it in and let it go if needed.
The last part of the middle school project is, if you remember, the board gave us the ability to move from a 4-foot to an 8-foot fence. So when I was there today, they've extended those poles. The fence is down right now. They've extended it about 60% of the poles, and they'll be finishing that work and putting the fence on as well. So we'll have that. So again, I appreciate Jason and Steve's oversight on this project. Sometimes, as we know, things happen that we didn't plan for, and we were not aware of some of the water issues that were on the visitors or the scoreboard side of the field until they started removing the equipment. So it's unfortunate. We're all disappointed that it's taking this long, but we've got to make sure we fix it for the long term and have it right. And so that'll be a few more weeks delayed for a long-term benefit. So thank you both for your work and leadership on that. Moving on to the curriculum report, we do have a student-teacher placement. So be it resolved upon my recommendation that the student-teacher be placed at Strongsville High School with Kelly Riblet through the dates shown for a student at Grand Canyon University. Under student services, we do have a recommendation to enter into an agreement with Maxim Healthcare Services, which operates healthcare staffing. As Steve said about suburban transportation, we've always used PSI for our nursing services. They have staffing challenges as well. They're a great partner. So Maxim is what we use as an additional nursing partner when we need their services. And then under item 2, we have a recommendation to change the PSA master contract per the attached agreement. We do have students with disabilities that have medical needs, and when they enroll in our district or go to different schools, additional nursing services are needed. So this change reflects a student with medical needs and the increased nursing staff that we need to have. Any questions on that one? All right, I'm going to turn it over to Jenny to go through the human resource report.
Thank you. Under Human Resources, we have the following recommendations. We have an abolishment of non-certificated staff position, resignations for non-certificated employees, resignation for non-certificated athletic supplemental contract. We have a retirement for our certificated staff, appointments for certificated staff, appointments for non-certificated staff, appointments for certificated athletic supplemental contracts, appointments for non-certificated athletic supplemental contracts. We have lots of appointments for our certificated supplemental contracts for the year, appointments for non-certificated supplemental contracts. We have appointments for extended school year. We had a few extra drivers added there and intervention specialist. Appointments for KidsLink summer program. Appointments for testing consultants for the upcoming year. We have one additional time for certificated staff for a little work over the summer. Changes in status for non-certificated staff. We had volunteer chaperones and volunteer coaches. And then one unpaid leave of absence for non-certificated staff. We had a name correction to the agenda for July 9th for a non-certificated athletic supplemental contract. And then finally, we have one correction from the agenda from May 21st, 2025. We had a last-minute switch in terms of a long-term sub to a permanent employee. And so given the fact that we're going through our seniority list with a fine-tooth comb right now and making sure everything is correct, we just want to officially make sure that that was correct, that she was in fact a officially hired teacher, not just a long-term substitute. And that concludes that report.
Unless there's any questions, that concludes my report.
Any questions? All right, thank you. Next on the agenda is the adoption of the consent calendar. action by the Board of Education and adoption of consent calendar at this point of the agenda means that all items appearing in this agenda denoted as type dash action consent, which items constitute the consent calendar, are adopted by one single motion unless a member of the board or the superintendent requests that such items be removed from the consent calendar and voted upon separately. Anyone need anything removed? Hearing none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Bissell, second by Mr. Wall. George, you take the roll?
Mrs. Bissell,
Yes.
Mr. Wall,
Yes.
Mrs. Hausum,
Yes.
Mr. Miko.
Yes.
Next is executive session. We do have need for executive session to,
Consider the employment of a public employee as well as to consider a complaint against a public official.
do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Bissell, second by Mr. Wall. George, can you take the roll?
Mrs. Bissell,
Yes.
Mr. Wall,
Yes.
Mrs. Hausum,
Yes.
Mr. Miko.
Yes.
We will enter into executive session at approximately 7:30. I do not see a reason to have resume public session. I think, I'm going to say a bad word. Are we starting school before our next meeting?
We are. Yes, yes, we are.
Oh, sorry,
Oh,
we'll have
yeah,
our
we got
special
one, yeah.
meeting tomorrow.
Right, yeah.
Not be recorded. So yes, if you want to talk about the first day of school dates.
Yeah, so we're excited. We've got administrators are all back this week. August 12th, teachers come back. August 13th, the rest of our staff comes back. 14th and 17th, we have professional development days. The 18th, students in grades 1 through 9 are back and kindergarten orientation happens. And then on August 19th, the whole crew is back and we are ready to go for the 26-27 school year.
All right. We want to wish all of our Mustangs good luck as they start this new school year. It's exciting times. All right. George, can you take the roll? We already did that?
Yeah.
All right. Have a good night.